So the iPhone 13 was released about a week ago, and I've been able to use it and just gather my thoughts on it. And spoiler alert, the iPhone 13 is definitely a really good phone. But of course, it's not perfect, and it's not that much different than the iPhone 12. And I'm gonna break down all of my thoughts in this full video review. Before I do get into the video though, I'm gonna kindly ask you guys at home to hit the subscribe button, as I do a lot of iPhone and Apple content. So if you're into that, make sure to hit the subscribe button because I got a lot more coming soon. Let's start off with the design. The iPhone 13 is very similar to the iPhone 12 of last year, and I promise I'll try my best not to compare the two too much, but if we're talking design, it will be really dishonest to not compare it to last year's model. This time around, the iPhone 13 has a few different color options. The one that I got is the midnight version, which should be called the midnight blue version. I honestly thought that this was black when I ordered it, and I was surprised when I found out that it's just a hint of blue. The iPhone 13 feels slightly heavier than the iPhone 12, coming in at 6.10 ounces. The iPhone 13 is squared and industrial and follows the same design language of even the iPads that were released this year, including the iPad Air, the iPad Pro, and of course the new iPad mini. Last year's design was a huge point of excitement for me with the new iPhones, and this year it's not as much, but I'm not too upset because although they didn't really change the design honestly looks really beautiful. But there are a few aesthetic differences with the iPhone 13 that you don't get with the iPhone 12. One of the first ones that you're going to notice is that there's a smaller notch on it. Apple says that this notch is a 20% smaller notch. You do notice it on first glance, although it's only 20%, but they did not really do anything with the extra screen real estate. The other big change with the new iPhone 13 is the way that Apple designed the camera layout. Instead of being stacked one on top of the other, Apple decided to go with a diagonal layout for the new cameras. And this is not exactly an aesthetic change only. The reason why they did this is because they added a bigger sensor down to the base model iPhone 13. With that, you're gonna get better low light performance, better stabilization, and better quality photos. Here are some samples that I took with the iPhone 13. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. So as you can see, the pictures on the iPhone 13 work really well. The dynamic range of the iPhone 13 camera is really good. Nothing looks too overexposed, and it always nails the sky. In general, I do have to say that I do notice the difference between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12 in terms of camera quality. The iPhone 13 does not have a telephoto lens, and that is something that I'm actually okay with. I don't mind it because I don't do a lot of macro photos, and I knew it didn't have it when buying it, so I can't really list it as a con. The iPhone 13 also has photographic styles, which enables you to basically add filters to the picture before even taking the shot. These look really cool. You're basically able to edit the photo before it's even taken and maintain a similar photographic style, because each style will remain as your main camera setting until you go in and change it. I don't personally use this mode because it doesn't allow you to edit things in post, and as somebody that only shoots raw photos, using a style beforehand could be kind of messy. But we can't talk about the iPhone 13 cameras without talking about the major new camera update, and that is cinematic mode. What that is basically the camera will be able to blur the background and make your phone look pretty much like a cinema camera. But hold on, before you think that this is a pro level camera, I do want to say that to the uninitiated or people that are not pixel peeping, if you're just going to show people the footage that you took with the iPhone 13 on an iPhone 13, it's gonna look amazing. But where it loses its quality is when you put it on a bigger display and really watch it, and you're gonna notice a few things. One of them is that it does have a difficult time nailing the focus around your head. There are like little gaps where you notice that it's not exactly perfect, and that does give it away that it's not filmed on a pro camera. Also, I did notice that the camera does have a hard time capturing focus with things that are like weird, like for example these berries, and as you can see, it's jumping in and out of focus and has a really difficult time focusing on the berries. So if you are somebody that's going to use this as your main lens, it's possible, but cinematic mode will not work 100% of the time. But that doesn't mean that it's not all good. This looks really good, and it's actually a fun feature. It just makes sense that to a lot of people, this is a cool tool that you put in your pocket, you whip it out, and all of a sudden it just captures such good looking footage. Again, if you're not looking for any issues. So overall, I would say that this can never be my main camera, but if you're getting into content creation, the iPhone 13 with the cinematic mode is really good. And let's not forget, the camera also does other things. It has 4K footage that looks really crisp. You can do slow-mo in up to 240 frames per second. And also it has time lapses and other cool features. You're not gonna have any issues with taking the videos on the iPhone 13. And powering the camera and doing all the processing on the fly is the A15 chip, which is one step higher than the A14 chip, but not a big difference. In general, I'm able to play intense games like Call of Duty Mobile and other games and have a really easy time. It doesn't look strange, it's very smooth, and there is generally no lag. But if you're comparing it to the iPhone 12, it's not that much better. And even if you go back to like any of the iPhone 10s, it's not like day and night in terms of speed. For the last few years though, the upgrades to the chip is not something that you're gonna notice if you have a more recent iPhone. If you're still rocking a really old iPhone 6, you are gonna notice the speed improvements with the newer chip and also the longevity that you get by buying the newest chip. Would I recommend buying this only for the processing speed? Absolutely not, but it's not gonna let you down. Where the A15 chip shines is the efficiency, and this thing is efficient. I'm able to get 6 to 7 hours of screen time with the new iPhone 13, and that's with using it to play games, browse Safari, text, use social media, and it's able to get me through the day. Let's say I plugged out at 8:30 a.m. I'm still gonna have a charge at 12 a.m. when I'm about to go to sleep. Apple says that this has 2.5 hours better battery life than the iPhone 12, but I'm gonna say it's a little bit better than that. Some other random things that make the iPhone 13 a really good phone is the fact that Apple decided to finally start at 128 gigs. Do you guys remember the days when we started at 16 gigs? That was crazy. The display is a Super Retina XDR display that looks really crisp. It gets brighter than the last phone at 800 nits or 1200 nits if you're watching HDR content. Photos look really crisp, and again, watching content on this thing looks really, really crisp. One thing that I did not see Apple mention was that the speakers were actually louder on the iPhone 13 than any of the past iPhones, and that's because they did a little bit of an earpiece upgrade with the new iPhone 13. But of course, not everything is perfect. It can never be. And if you were to look at the iPhone 13 and really zone in, then there's not a lot of things to complain about, but I'm gonna do it. 1, no USB-C. Apple still stuck with Lightning, which is not the greatest in my personal opinion. I like USB-C. The midnight blue color looks good, but it smudges so much. This thing is a fingerprint magnet, so much so that I'm contemplating exchanging this for another phone with a different color just so I don't notice the smudges. There's still no charger in the box, which I paid around 1,300 Canadian dollars for this phone. I want an extra charger, why not? But the biggest complaint that I have though is that if you open up your vision and compare the iPhone 12 to any of the recent iPhones, you're not gonna notice a way big difference. Day to day, same exact tasks that you can do on the iPhone 13 compared to the iPhone 12. They can do essentially the same thing. It's not even much faster than the iPhone 12. You're not gonna notice the speed improvements. The camera, while better, is not like something that I expect everybody to use every single day unless you're a content creator. So it's not really much of an upgrade, and it's more so like an S upgrade than ever before. So what's my conclusion? Should you buy the iPhone 13? Is this a worthy upgrade? I gotta be honest and say this. If you have an iPhone 12, an iPhone 11, iPhone 10, do not upgrade. It's not worth it unless you need the cinematic camera. But if you have an older iPhone, such as like the iPhone 6 or the iPhone 7, 8, any of those phones, you're definitely gonna want to upgrade to the 13 if you cannot find a used iPhone 12 on the market. But that'll be it. Let me know if you guys upgraded and what you think about the video in the comments below. I have a lot of content planned soon, so make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.